So the first grave in the churchyard out there is 1788, and there's about 9 acres in our churchyard. Yeah. We've also got a number of Commonwealth graves. So graves of those who died in particularly the 2 world wars. One of the things that I was worried about when I first learned to train is like, how do you do funerals? And we get this really helpful thickish book, and this has got all the words in that I need to use during a funeral service, the prayers, those kind of things. So this is a brilliant one, and I often say to people, if I read from this, I immediately start sounding like a vicar, because it gives you all the words that you'd need, like ashes to ashes, dust to dust, all those kind of things. And sometimes there are practical things like there are things in the way or there are trees nearby, and we have to manage all of that. We have a grave digger and people who manage that, and we have to find out things like the dimensions of the coffin, the dimension of the casket if it's ashes, so that the hole's the right size. And then on the day itself we'll have, if it's a church funeral service, we'll be in here for the service. And then we will walk out into the graveyard, and in the churchyard we'll come to the hole. The undertakers, the funeral directors will lower the coffin into the ground, and then there's a short ceremony outside with prayers before we give them, the family, time to do whatever they need to do there. We have a contractor that we pay because we have to pay for the upkeep of the churchyard from the funds that the church raises from the members of the family that are here. So we have contractors that come in to do heavy lifting every now and again, lots of strimming and tree care. But week to week we have a Tuesday morning volunteer group who come in faithfully throughout the year, and they will do cutting of grass, clearing away stuff, even things like, obviously litter picking, looking after the space. So it's largely volunteer managed, and we rely on largely retired older people to do that work. There's probably a few more years left in terms of the space we've got and the number of funerals we're doing each year, and the number of funerals we are doing is decreasing. There's extra space that we could make available for burials if we wanted to. Once the churchyard gets full and it becomes closed, then it becomes the care of the council, and then that's all the kind of management of that there's space out there that we love, that we want to look after for the community, and there's some benefits of the council looking after it, but there are obviously financial restraints of that and less control for us as a church. I think if you walk around there, it's weird, you're surrounded by tons of dead bodies essentially, but overwhelmingly what you're struck by is the birdsong, the wildlife, the flowers. There's a lot of life out there to say that it's a place that is dominated by death.